Hi, my name is Herbs for America, and I'm here today on this Memorial Day weekend in 2008 to talk about oil prices, crude oil prices, and some of the theories that are out there surrounding the crude oil prices. A lot of people believe that there's a vast conspiracy, that there's all kinds of price manipulation going on. And I just wanted to throw my opinion in there and give people something to think about other than what they're hearing on the TV, other than the grandstanding you're seeing in the House and the Senate, where they're dragging people up and trying to make a big deal out of something, and they have no proof about any of the information they're throwing out there. I want to start out with a few charts and go over that information. I think it's important to use reality as our basis instead of emotion. Let's talk about what's actually causing the problem and what we can actually do to fix it. If we don't know what the problem is, or if we just prescribe to a conspiracy theory, George Bush is screwing everybody over and everything, it's fine not to like George Bush. I'm not defending George Bush. There's a lot of things I don't like about him. But I don't think that he's in charge of a global conspiracy driving up oil prices. A lot of people believe that we get our oil from one country, Saudi Arabia. This isn't the case. I'm going to throw a slide up here for you to look at. If you actually, you'll see that Canada is where we gain most of our oil from. And the Canadians that I work with on a weekly basis nearly have a big problem with it, because the truth is we actually pay less for our gas that they export to us than they are paying for their own gas. There's a lot of reasons for that, but I'm sticking with the issues the United States is facing right now. Saudi Arabia is number 2, and then you go down the list: Mexico, Nigeria, Venezuela. There are a lot of countries on there that don't like us. We produce 40% of our own oil that we use. The important thing to remember is that if we actually are using several different countries to import oil from, that means that there is competition. If we only had a singular entity that we were importing oil from, then I could believe that there's a huge price manipulation and all kinds of backwards deals and everything. But that isn't the case. The truth is, everybody is paying more money, and I can prove that in my next slide. As you'll see here, now this is just Europe that we're comparing against, but you'll see that the graph actually shows a very close similarity with an offset value of about $4 per gallon that the Europeans are paying. Now, why is this important? Because a lot of people actually believe that we are the only country that's getting raked over the coals. What this graph should tell you is that this is not a national issue, meaning Congress can drag as many people up on the stage to grandstand as they want. It's not going to solve anything. And it's not going to solve anything to tax the corporations or sue the corporations, because the truth is, although that makes Congress look great, and maybe you'll vote for them again, that's their real goal, the truth is that all they're going to do is pass that bomb. Through supply and demand, you really get an understanding of what's really going on. There's no vast global conspiracy. It's simple economics. Supply is not increasing, and demand is increasing exponentially. If we look at the next chart, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This shows the world petroleum consumption. Although you can't probably see the number of barrels here, just between 1990 and 2000, we had about an average of about 1.69, I believe, % increase per year. Since that date, the average has been 4 times that rate. Why is that? Well, simply put, you have India and China coming into the picture. They're both hungry for resources. They need those resources in order to continue their growth. These are issues that there's no way to get around. The only way to get around them is to increase the supply. Unfortunately for us, as we will see in my next graphs, the percent of refinery capacity that's being utilized by the United States and the barrels of field oil produced within the United States have actually decreased. This is a huge problem. If you want to save money, you need to increase the production capabilities. That's not happening. It's not a global conspiracy, because if more people got into doing this, they would make more money. Eventually it would drive prices down. But in the short term, these companies would make money hand over fist if they could get their hands on more oil. The problem is they can't, because our government simply will not let them. I'm just going to show you a quick slide of the supply and demand curve here. And what you see is the blue line represents the supply. It's increasing as the price is increasing as the quantity is increasing. The red line is an inverse. It's a negative. It does just the opposite. That's our demand curve. Now this is just a very simple explanation of what's going on. But what you see is where those two lines meet is, I don't know, about $5.50 there. This is just for, just for comparison purposes. And what happens when the new demand curve shifts and demand increases, our price equilibrium jumps up to about $7. The problem is, in true economics, something would occur that would also help bring this back down. You would probably see the supply increase as well, and it would help bring this back down. The blue line would actually shift to the right, bringing the price back down to a new equilibrium. However, our government is not allowing that to happen. They don't want to drill anywhere. We can't drill in Anwar. We can't drill in like a huge percentage of the United States. There's so many environmental issues and everything else that the companies just don't believe it's worth it. And for any of you that have owned a small business out there, you know what I'm talking about. The government makes it very, very difficult to get anything done if you own a business, let alone when you own something that can have such a devastating consequence on the environment. When you view something, remember when your grandma and grandpa or your mother and father would say they remember when they could buy, I don't know, a candy bar for a certain amount of money, or they only made 20 cents an hour. It's really an irrelevant figure, and the reason for that is it's not adjusted for inflation. When you adjust for inflation, you'll come across exactly what I've shown you on the next chart. The blue line shows you the adjusted data. Now, we're not up through 2008 on this data because of the lack of information that's available, but it is going to be higher than it is here, and the truth is that the price is going up even when adjusted, but it's been below the rate of where it should be for a very, very long time, and it's now reaching where it's finally going above it. Now that's due to the same problems that I described earlier under the supply and demand curve. This trend is going to continue until we do something to eliminate that pressure.